Thank you so much, Councilmember Grasso, Chairman Mendelson, and members of the Committee of the Whole on Committee on Education. My name is Shukurat Adamoh-Faniyan, the Executive Director for Reading Partners DC. Reading Partners serves over 900 kindergarten through fourth grade students in 19 Title I elementary schools in wards 1, 4, 6, 7, and 8 through our one-on-one individualized literacy intervention program. Due to COVID-19, we know that the way we partner with schools and engage with volunteers will forever be changed. Even as the school day is modified next year, we plan to continue programming and expect to see an increased demand for our services. Reading Partners has greatly benefited from ongoing funding from multiple DC agencies. These agencies include the Deputy Mayor for Education, Mayor's Office on Latino Affairs, and OSSI. Over the last several years that we've received this funding, we have served over 3,800 elementary school students and engaged over 4,800 community members as literacy tutors. We also hired, trained, and supported over 100 AmeriCorps members. We are grateful for Mayor Bowser's commitment to education during these times, as demonstrated by the proposed increase of the FY21 funding for K-12 public education and the 3% per pupil funding increase. We understand that economic repercussions of COVID-19 means that tough decisions are made in determining budget priorities. However, now is not the time to cut funding from critical support like the Early Literacy Intervention Initiative administered by OSSI. DC students, especially those from low-income communities, need access to consistent, evidence-based literacy support and the opportunity for increased connection with their community. Reducing funding for interventions like ours puts our children at risk for further isolation and academic decline, which would cost our city more in the long term. We know that the COVID-19 pandemic is not only a public health crisis, but has negative social and economic impacts for many of our students and their families. Significant school interruptions and economic insecurity are detrimental to student achievement and can increase the educational disparities between students from low-income communities and their more affluent peers. 2019 NAEP results found that 19% of DC's fourth graders eligible for the National School Lunch Program were reading proficiently prior to COVID-19. Recent data report projects that the percentage of DC students in grades 3 through 8 who would have passed ELA on the PARCC would drop by 16% if schools are closed until the fall. Reading Partners is doing all that we can to mitigate the impacts of this crisis on our participants, their families, and schools. We have hosted virtual read aloud sessions for students across the city this spring and have expanded our family texting program that provides literacy tips to families via text in English and in Spanish 2 to 3 times per week. We also gave our partner schools multiple options for services we could provide during distance learning, which included sharing a digital resource library and small group distance tutoring sessions. If we invest more resources in developing and mobilizing technology-based solutions, we are keenly aware of the digital divide that exists among students, and we are focused on addressing digital equity issues with our DCPS and charter partners. We rely on approximately 1,100 volunteers to help us implement our program each year, and are concerned that many of these tutors next school year will not be able to participate. And we're going to require increased paid tutor positions to meet the needs of our students. During this past school year, volunteers ages 16 and up were responsible for 39% of our sessions. And it's likely these volunteers will not be allowed in the school buildings at all next year, which means that we'll need to find other ways to engage our tutors. Sustained investments from our education agencies are crucial during this unprecedented time and enable us to deliver a consistent, high-quality program for our students. Reading Partners is calling on the DC Council to keep the Early Literacy Initiative and OST funding stable in FY21 as organizations like ours work to ensure DC students do not fall further behind in their education. I thank this committee for fighting to ensure that all children in DC, regardless of their demographics, have access to the comprehensive literacy support that they need to succeed as they recover from COVID-19. Thank you.